You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show, fueled by Fleetway Market. Whether you're on the road to the tailgate or headed up to hunting camp, stop by Fleetway Market to fuel up the car and the cooler today.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
Are you ready?
Yes! Now live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the BankPlus Studio.
You are listening to
Mississippi's #1 sports talk show, The Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming worldwide live on the Out of Bounds radio app and on your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
All right, good morning. Welcome in. I'll get into that in a second. The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by the Rack of Lamb. And let's go with the side of fried shrimp. Jumbo. Fried shrimp at Kessler Prime in the Renaissance. Well, it's Thursday. The weekend starts on Thursday. So that you can hammer that on a Thursday. It's a big boy meal, but you can do it. We'll go Rack of Lamb. Side of jumbo fried shrimp, Kessler Prime in the Renaissance. Visit KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Y'all can always hit us up on the Ag Up Equipment text line. 601-885-3776. I want to let you know that MRA football is not on tomorrow night. It's on Saturday night. So, as MHSAA is in their playoffs, MAIS is now in the championship round. The 6A is MRA and Hartfield. That's at Mississippi College. I'm pretty sure all the other ones are at JA. So, and unfortunately, because I had a lot of friends go to Canton Academy, Canton pulled Greenville Christian. That's probably not going to work out.
Yikes.
But MRA and Hartfield on 105.9 The Zone ESPN for all the marbles in 6A. Hartfield just beat Prep. MRA just beat JA. Now they go at it. So there you go. You got Lakeland Drive against Old Canton Road. Rankin County versus Madison County.
Not the normal Lakeland Drive.
Not
either.
the normal Lakeland Drive. That's right. It's not the normal team that has been in it for the better part of 50 years. And that would be Jackson Prep. It is Hartfield against MRA, and you can hear MRA football on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN.
Should I offer to go turn the Patriots around?
Yes,
Jackson Prep.
To me, you would be you'd be a good offensive line coach.
Oh,
because when I heard Dan Campbell talk about kneecap biters,
you thought of me.
I thought of you.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I'd be the Matt Luke of Jackson Prep.
Yeah. Just resurrect that program on the spot.
Dude, let me tell you something. We would score a ton of points.
But you know what? You'd have a little John Hevesy in you.
Ooh.
Because, Hevesy is he's something, right?
I don't know how. I feel like you have insulted me.
No. Hevesy's he's gonna have a chance to go to the NFL. I know that sounds crazy to people.
Because I'm surprised
he's
he hadn't
considered,
been there.
as far as on the technical side, the teaching side, one of the top offensive line coaches in the country. I've talked to people who know way more than me or anybody else listening.
I'm surprised he had not already gone because we've had that conversation before. He's never been a college coach.
Can I tell you a team to watch with John Hevesy?
Packers?
The Washington football team.
Why is that? What tie is
just
Interesting.
I'm going to throw that out to you.
Interesting.
So over the next few weeks, just keep that in front of you. We all know that Hevesy doesn't like to recruit, even though it will always be the craziest thing in the world to say this. Hevesy doesn't like to recruit, but he was the lead recruiter on Dak Prescott.
But
isn't that insane?
Anyone can hit a lotto ticket if you play every year.
That's a good. Well, not necessarily, but I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
You play it enough, sometimes you're going to hit a winner.
Well, yeah. Well,
you take enough shots, you'll hit one.
Okay, that's a better analogy. I get it. Yeah, I see what you're saying. All right. Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line 601-707-3750. Welcome in. Good morning. Show is brought to you by RPT and Rick's Pro Truck. All right, Blake. I don't see how Mullen goes 2-0 the next two weekends. If that's what he's got to do to keep his job, that means he's gone.
Even though
in my opinion,
they're favorites in both games.
Absolutely. And maybe Dan pulls this off somehow and outscores Missouri and Florida State.
Missouri is not a good team.
No, they're not. But my goodness gracious, Blake, neither is South Carolina or Samford.
No, you're right.
And look what they just did the last couple of weeks against those two teams.
Have you ever seen a team with Florida's talent composite play defense like that against Samford, like what you saw against Samford? I don't know. I mean, even LSU, who has stumbled over themselves this year, didn't play as poor defense as I saw Florida play against Samford.
Well,
incredible.
No, but let's just talk about the job openings. Matthew, I appreciate it. I'll try to wake up this morning. All right. Appreciate it, dude. Thank you, buddy. Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. What if Florida comes open, that makes Ole Miss and Mississippi State fans nervous? If Miami, and it's going to come open, this could get out of control. Yeah. LSU, Southern Cal, Florida, Miami, all open. And if Lincoln Riley takes a job, Oklahoma will be open. What are you going to do with that? You're going to fight like hell to keep your coach. I don't know.
There's no way Lane Kiffin stays, right?
Man, I think you got to worry about Mike Leach, too.
I think you do, but I think Lane is the obvious first choice of the two, isn't he?
Is it because he's young?
Yes, and he's had, as much as the Pirate has name value.
I was a shot at Mike Leach.
Well,
I just took a shot at the Pirates.
But we talked about this when they hired Leach. You and I discussed, do you think this is his last stop? And we both said, yeah, it feels like it could be his last stop. Now, granted, he still has tread on the tires. I understand that. But Kiffin, we knew going in, it felt like Kiffin was still trying to parlay this into an even bigger program.
Okay.
So it feels like Kiffin would be the one to look harder.
I don't think it's by that much, Kiffin over Leach. I think it's so fingernail type that it's not. I think you both could be very, very nervous after the Golden Egg. I'm just letting you know.
If I make you bet,
I think it's going to get real, real slippery for both programs. I do.
So you saw the latest.
I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of joy in one of the fan bases, and then I think there's going to be a lot of you know what, by about Sunday morning.
You saw the latest report,
Mel
right?
Tucker just got offered $900 million.
Yeah, right. It's 10 years, $95 million.
Okay. He's not worth that, but that's where we are in collegiate athletics now.
Well, and Michigan State has to pay to keep you.
Is he worth what somebody's willing to offer him?
Correct. Michigan State has to pay to play. That's the problem. Just like State and Ole Miss. You're going to have to overpay a commodity.
And I think State and Ole Miss will go, north of 7 a year for Leach and Kiffin. But I think both could be nervous coming out of Thursday night. It could be nerve-wracking, intense, and a lot going on.
So the latest report...
Who is Leach's? Is Leach his own agent?
That's a great question. I'd have to go look.
I know Kiffin's with Sexton.
Did you see the latest report, though, out of Oklahoma? From the J-Boy Show, which is an affiliate of Colin Cowherd's?
Yeah.
That the report was that LSU has offered Lincoln Riley 8 years, $95 million, which would be an insane.
8 years, $95 million?
That's 10-something a year.
That's
or
12
more.
Almost.
Yeah. So,
no.
11 and change?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, boy, if Lincoln leaves.
Heupel to Oklahoma?
If Lincoln leaves, boy, that opens up a lot of things. Because Oklahoma is that would pull some different dominoes.
Yeah, it's a wonderful job. The problem is, and I don't know if coaches would be able to see this, it's not the job that it's been the last 50 years.
Yep.
Because you're about to go to the Southeastern Conference. But it's still a great job to go get rich.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. Brian Harsin, if he loses this weekend, at least he'll have gotten rich at Auburn. Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Driven by your next John Deere tractor at Ag Up Equipment, Mississippi Ag. Ag Up Equipment, Canton and Pearl. Don't forget that they have the Muddy Water Camo. Muddy Water Camo at Ag Up Equipment in Canton and Pearl. Visit agup.com today. Jeff Good coming up next. We'll talk a little food. And then Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus, PFF.com, 8:30.
The Out of Bounds Show podcast is presented by the Premium Cigars at Havana Smoke Shop. Visit their 2 locations, I-55 in Jackson and on the Res, for your premium cigar needs. Only at Havana Smoke Shop.
Oh, we're about to have some fun. Good morning. Welcome in to the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN, brought to you by Bravo Italian Restaurant and Bar in Highland Village, Broadstreet, I-55 North, Frontage Road, Sal and Mookies in Eastover and Eastover District, and in Madison between Kroger and Home Depot at Colony Crossing. We want to welcome in our friend Jeff Good on the Bell's Two-Hearted L guest line. And Jeff Good, good morning. How are you, my man?
Good morning, Bo. I'm doing great. It's great to hear your voice. It's been far too long since we have connected, and what a joy to do that this morning.
I got to ask you a question about Thanksgiving before we get into 3-in-1giftcards.com, okay?
Yeah.
All right. We're looking at a poll here.
Don't ask me how to cook your turkey. Come on now.
Okay. So what is your favorite side for Thanksgiving?
Favorite side? Oyster dressing. Got some friends that make oyster dressing, and it's delicious.
Oh, that's electric right there. So you did well there.
I mean, that's like total luxury. That is like a once a year. that's like, I feel like I should have a china cup and have my pinky extended if I have a cup of coffee. That's big time. And then other than that, I am a mashed taters guy. They're good.
Oh my gosh, the poll that we're referencing right now has we disagreed with the poll. The poll that we're looking at had mashed potatoes number 1. We said dressing had to be number 1. Jeff Good.
I'm mashed potatoes. It's standard dressing. Dressing's delicious. It is. But there's just, when people make like mashed potatoes for like holiday time and use butter and cream, oh yeah.
Okay, you're talking about big time, spiced up.
When grandma, when she puts it down, when she does it.
Sure. I'm with you. All right. Jeff Good on the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN. All right, tell me, y'all do this every year. I think it's super cool. Oh, I forgot to tell you one more thing. Can I tell you one more thing real quick? Okay. Yeah. Last night we fed 25 people at Lake Cavalier, and we ordered from Patrick at Sal and Mookies in Madison, and he catered the deal, and it was delicious.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that means a great deal. I tell you, Patrick Munn and Hallie Sappington, the couple that own the Madison Sal and Mookies, we've been able to work with our team members to create an opportunity for them to have their own restaurant. They worked with us for 5 years and really, made it clear that they wanted to own their own place. And so we helped them frame the concept and help them with our years of experience. But they have done the work, and it's their business and their money and their effort every day. And I'm just so proud of them. And they're living the American dream right there in 39110, and we're very, very proud of them. And I just cannot say enough about those two young folks. And so really urge people, if they haven't had a chance, if they live in the Madison market, to go by and enjoy a great pie and some ice cream with them.
Sal and Mookie's in Madison. We're visiting with Jeff Good. All right, let's talk 3-in-1giftcard.com and the 12 days of giving. Jeff, you have the floor.
So years ago, my partner took he took a vacation finally. He was dating a young lady and decided to go out to Sedona, and he made a big deal of this, that he was going to leave, and he was leaving over, before Thanksgiving, to be back in time for Thanksgiving and the catering rush, et cetera. And I was literally in the shower in the morning that he left, and I was thinking, okay, what's today? And Dan's left, and what am I going to do? And I said, oh my God, I should do something to drive him crazy. What can I do to drive him crazy while he's out of town? Oh, give things away. So I came up with this idea of doing a gift card sale. And this has just evolved into a real ritual, I think, for so many of our customers to wait for and get ready for. And I've had a really good time making a lot of really fun, over-the-top commercials that I get to write and direct in and produce and do the whole bit. I have a young man who's just great with the camera and with editing, and he and I just do this together. And so I've been the Godfather, I've been the Terminator, I've been Willy Wonka, I did a Psycho takeoff and all this. But this year for the commercials, I really thought it was important just to say thank you. This has been an incredible year and a half of experience for those of us in the restaurant industry. You and I have talked about that in the past. And so we did a montage of the faces of our restaurants, simply saying thank you, and thank you for what it means to to do what we do, to serve the public. And so that's the marketing push. But what we have is 12 days, and it's going to end Tuesday, the 23rd at midnight, that you can purchase 3 cards. You get 1 card free. So you buy 3 25s, you get a 25 free. You buy 3 50s, you get a 50 free. You buy 3 1000s, you get a $1,000 free. And 10% of your purchase goes to charity. And those charities, we do a democratic process. We ask that in October people to nominate, much like you're doing the poll for Thanksgiving, nominate your favorite charities. And the top 12 won: Little Lighthouse of Central Mississippi, CARA, Extra Table, Ronald McDonald House, Magnolia Speech School, Jackson Public Schools, Community Stew Pot, Lily Pad, Friends of Children's Hospital, Diabetes Foundation, Capital City Pride, and Hope Hollow Ministries. Those are our 12 charities. So when you buy a card by going to 3in1giftcard.com, you can order online anytime, 24 hours a day, or you can come to one of the restaurants. When you purchase, if you're in person, we hand you a ballot and you circle which charity you want the 10% to go to. When you buy online, you have a ballot that pops up and you choose it. And then we gather all of the sales at the end of the sales cycle, add it up, and then we donate 10% of the total sales to each of the charities as they were voted on, and we give them gift cards, which they in turn are able to use to feed their staff, to have board meetings, to give away as raffles, to do all the things. It's just been a wonderful relationship. Bottom line is, holidays, inflation, everything else, getting a deal on 3 great restaurants. Our cards work across the board. The Madison card is a separate card. Just want to make, that it is an unfortunate technology glitch that I have 27 years of business history, starting with Bravo and all those gift cards out there, and there's no way for me to match that to a third-party business of Patrick and Hallie. So Patrick and Hallie do the buy 3, get 1 free. And if you love the Madison Style Mookies, you can buy their cards at their location or through their website. But their cards work in their world. The 3-in-1 gift cards work in the Jackson locations, Bravo, Boradstreet, Style Mookies in the district. And it is wonderful to be able to tell your listening audience about this. And I always appreciate you giving me a chance to kind of explain what's going on in my little world, Bo.
Jeff Good on the Out of Bounds Show. It's 3in1giftcard.com. 3in1. 3in, the number 1, giftcard.com. 3in1giftcard.com. Or any of the restaurants have a buy now, on the front page. Click through and go at it. We also have a now hiring button on every website. I bet you do, my man.
That teenager sitting on the couch or that 25-year-old that just can't find his purpose in life, you send them to me. I will give her or him a purpose, and I will teach them hospitality.
Love it. Jeff Good on the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN. I've got one more minute.
Yes, sir.
I want you to frame up what it's been like to move Sal and Mookies to the Eastover district.
Overwhelmingly positive. We are doing 2.5 times the revenue at the old location. We were so blessed that 14 and a half years ago we came up with this idea, and we opened in the old burned out Woodlands restaurant on Taylor Street, and we were part of the magic of what was Fondren to create that energy. The truth is, as Fondren became so popular, and once the dueling project happened, Fondren really moved north, and we got left on kind of a side street, and our street became more and more industrial. Some fencing was put up, some industrial stuff, and we were kind of left in this little, pocket where people didn't think about us. And so being able to move and go to the center, we're like on the spotlight. I mean, the district is just an amazing development. And the green space and our concept for families and kids is hand in glove. And, we've been doing SEC and Saints football every weekend. The district has put up a couple big screen TVs on the green, and people can come and enjoy, get drinks and food from the restaurants. And watch the games. We've got the big Christmas celebration, which will happen the first weekend of December. It is a great place to be. Look forward to sharing it with everyone.
Sal and Mookies, now in the Eastover district. And, of course, Bravo Italian Restaurant and Bar in Highland Village. And don't forget about Boradstreet, I-55 North, Frontage Road. He is Jeff Good joining us on the Out of Bounds Show, talking about the 3-in-1 gift card, 3in1giftcard.com. That's the number 3 and the number 1, 3in1giftcard.com. You can't be a stranger to the show. We got to get you in studio. I'll see you soon, my friend.
I'll come on over, and remember, we got Thanksgiving catering at Boradstreet if you don't want to cook.
Bam. Thanksgiving catering at Boradstreet if you don't want to cook. Thanks, Jeff Good. Be good, buddy. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Straight ahead, Steve Palazzolo, NFL Insider on Dak Prescott.
You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show podcast, presented by Independent Roofing Systems. If you want it done right the first time, visit Independent Roofing Systems today.
The Out of Bounds Show is powered by the award-winning golf courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Woo! Good morning. Welcome in the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Brought to you by Corner Market with over 20 locations in the state of Mississippi, the official grocery store of the Out of Bounds Show. Corner Market in Belhaven, where I grew up. Corner Market in Fondren, where I've lived. And Corner Market Northside Drive, which is also a great place to hang out. Corner Market will get you ready for Thanksgiving. Corner Market Grocery Store, the official grocery store of the Out of Bounds Show, and locally owned and operated with over 20 locations. We're live in the BankPlus Studio. BankPlus, it's more than a name, it's a promise. We welcome in Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus, PFF.com. Steve, I want to start with the MVP of the league right now, Dak Prescott, and your takeaway on Dallas's performance and bounce back after the Denver game and what y'all saw from Dallas against Atlanta last weekend.
Wait, MVP Dak, 1 week removed from that Denver game?
Yeah.
You're just falling into the weekly trap. Just falling into the emotions here.
That's true.
It was that's true, and that's okay. The Cowboys, I mean, they just played up to their potential. I mean, it was the complete opposite of the previous week against Denver, which look, every team's got games now that just don't seem to make sense. You just go back. Tampa Bay just lost to Washington, and the Titans lost to the Jets. There's a whole bunch of the Bills and the Jaguars. A lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. But Dallas played up to their potential. The offense, their ability to just create big plays. CeeDee Lamb. In any given week with Dallas, it could be CeeDee Lamb, it could be Amari Cooper. They got Michael Gallup back. Dak was throwing the ball extremely well. Outside of early in the game, did try to throw a pick six that got dropped. That shows up in our grades too, but still had one of the best grades of the week despite that. So yeah, Dak was back on, where he needed to be. Looked comfortable and showed that the Cowboys are one of the best teams in the league when he's healthy and and that defense is playing the way they did.
Where is CeeDee Lamb trending to? Like top 5, top 10? And he's still developing. He's still a young player. Where's he trending?
Yeah, probably top 10. I mean, when you actually go and rank receivers year over year, it's like, wow, there's probably 20, 22, 25 guys that you say are legitimate number ones. And I think, CeeDee Lamb's one of those guys, as is Amari Cooper. I think both of those guys. The fact that Dallas has 2 true number ones is a big part of their success and has been a big part of the MVP Dak Prescott success since 2018 when Amari Cooper showed up. You saw a complete switch in Dak's stats and productivity and however you want to, assess that. So, I think CeeDee Lamb's looking like another true number one wide receiver, which, again, makes Dallas's passing offense just so difficult to stop.
Okay. Before we get into Mac Jones and how wrong I was, I have to ask you, what is your favorite side at Thanksgiving?
Oh, I'm just simple. I want mashed potatoes. I just want something simple. Yeah, and my wife won't make them for me. She said I'm the only one who wants them. So, it's a lot of work just for me.
I got you.
I don't know.
I'm a
little sad about that.
Do you cook, or does your wife do most, or does someone else, like parents or whatever, do you cook at all, or how does that work?
Thanksgiving, it's like we're changing every year because we're all like by ourselves, no family near us here in Cincinnati. So it's mostly my wife. I'll help out. We're trying to smoke a turkey this year. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, dude, you got to YouTube that so I can see it, make fun of you.
No, I don't need the embarrassment. We've got a couple trial runs going here. We're novices, But we're gonna try it. We get some family or some friends coming over, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right. Let's get into. He is Steve Palazzolo, PFF.com, Pro Football Focus, and he joins us on the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line. Give me. All right. I was wrong. It's looking more and more like I was wrong on Mac Jones. What is Pro Football Focus seeing as this guy grows up in front of us and works within this New England Patriots offense and coaching?
Well, we're seeing a lot of the same stuff we saw in Alabama, which was the ability to process quickly, get rid of the ball, and throw the ball accurately. And he's had this breakout few weeks, but even early in the season, that stuff was there. He was getting rid of the ball quickly and under pressure, and the ball just gets there. There are throws where it looks like, I don't know, the velocity might not be there, and he's kind of fading away, and he's got a guy in his face, and it just gets there. It's helmet high on the receiver. That accuracy has been legit for Mac Jones. And I think the Patriots have done a really nice job of kind of easing them in. They do have a good run game. They have an excellent offensive line despite having a bunch of injuries up there this year. And so they've put him in a good position to succeed. At the same time, he's helped, their free agent acquisitions like Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry really emerge as threats there in that offense. So Mac Jones has clearly been the best rookie quarterback. It's too early to write off the other guys. But I think early on, you're like, okay, Mac Jones he's the one guy that's really carried over his college skill set to the NFL so far.
Is he so how much more runway does he have? I mean, I think you said 6 months ago with him, high floor, low ceiling, you may not have. But, I mean, do you think there's a lot more there, or he's almost what he is and he's just going to play at a really nice level in the NFL for years to come?
Yeah, I mean, he might be what he is, but it's also, how much better do you need, so to speak, right? So, he'll always have some Tom Brady comparisons, hanging over him in New England. He's not – I don't think he'll get to Tom Brady's level. I don't think he'll get to Drew Brees' level or Peyton Manning's or Aaron Rodgers. But does that matter? Will there be a point where you have the same conversations about Mac Jones that you've had about, say, a Derek Carr or a Matthew Stafford, even though stylistically they're all different? There's always that point where it's like, okay, am I winning because of this guy, or am I losing because of this guy? And we might still get to that point where those are the questions. Can Mac Jones take that next step? But as of right now, it's a mastery of the system and accuracy and decision making. Like, that's going to take you a long way. So I think he'll be a good starting quarterback in the league for a while. And even if he doesn't take that next step, I'm not sure if it matters. They'll still be a really good team. We'll see. They're 6-4. They got 2 Buffalo games still to go. Buffalo's defense is incredible. There's still more to see with Mac. He might not be completely wrong yet, but it's trending in the right direction for Mac Jones and the Patriots right now.
All right, Dak versus Mahomes this weekend in Kansas City. What are you expecting to see, Steve?
Oh, man, it should be great. I mean, the Mahomes right now, we talked about it last week, his slump that he was in. I think he just ran into a team that was not – the Raiders don't play the style that had been slowing Mahomes down, which is putting 2 safeties deep and making him be really patient and just take all the underneath stuff, which he did elements of that on Sunday night against the Raiders. But it was a more favorable matchup for the Chiefs, and it kind of looks like the old Chiefs offense. But at the same time, Mahomes still got away with some stuff. So I think Dallas, what I'm looking for here is if Mahomes puts the ball in harm's way again, which he's been doing a couple times a game in recent weeks, Trevon Diggs getting his hands on a pass again, or making sure that you turn the ball over if you're Dallas when Mahomes gives you those opportunities. And I want to see if Dallas, plays softer, and which is what has been, the blueprint, so to speak, for slowing Kansas City. Make Mahomes patient. And then Kansas City's defense has done a really nice job, and they're going to be aggressive and they're going to attack. But I think Dak, he's good against the blitz. He knows where to go with the ball, and they have guys who get open. So I think there's definitely an opportunity for a ton of points from Dallas's end, because they'll have growth. They'll have opportunities to create some big plays down the field against this Chiefs defense.
Blake, I think I just heard Palazzolo say Dallas by 2 scores. So will you tweet that out?
Hey, I also said the Falcons were going to give them a game last week, and nobody's perfect over here,
Hey, I thought about you last weekend when they did that. I just opened a beer, and I thought, and the CBS doesn't switch off a game often, and And I was like, dang, it's bad when they go to another game.
They switched off the game. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, the Falcons have like a 5-year history of breaking my heart. Every time I really buy into them, they let us down.
Steve Palazzolo, PFF.com, Pro Football Focus, NFL senior analyst. I want to go out to the Rams and the 49ers because I really don't know what to do with either. 49ers worked them the other night. So what's going on here with, everybody was poor-mouthing Shanahan with the 49ers and celebrating the Rams, but they've gone back-to-back games with what's going on. So what's happening here with the Rams and the 49ers, Steve?
Yeah, so if the Rams had not had that game against the Titans, you might explain this away and say, okay, Shanahan just has McVay's number, right? It's 5 straight, and no matter the quality of the teams, Shanahan's just the head-to-head matchup is just in the 49ers' favor. And there's some truth to that. The Niners just do a good job. It's a matchup-driven game, and sometimes they're lopsided. They're one-sided. But the Titans game happened for the Rams, which gives us 2 straight games of that offense just being off kilter, and Robert Woods is now hurt, and OBJ's in, and all this stuff. And I think from a Rams perspective, you have a somewhat new offense. This is not the same offense that they ran under Jared Goff. It's a new Matthew Stafford-driven offense. Stafford has taken a step back these last couple of weeks, and the defenses have adjusted to what the Rams are doing. And this is what happened to McVay back in 2018 in that Super Bowl year. Even though they made it to the Super Bowl, there was a point around week 11 or 12 where defenses really started to catch up and adjust to what they were doing. And the Bears did it, the Lions did it, and then the Patriots did it in the Super Bowl. And it took McVay about a year to adjust to what they were doing. So I think McVay's at this new pivotal point where he's got to take this new Stafford-led offense and adjust back, because that's what the NFL is all about. It's easy to get caught up in flashes and, big plays here and there, but it's all about consistency and being able to adjust what the league throws at you. So I think that's where the Rams are. And then the Niners, we have them with the 2nd or 3rd best playoff odds for the number 7 seed. It's wide open in the NFC. The Panthers, the Vikings, they're all in there. So I don't think the Niners are dead. Jimmy Garoppolo's playing good football. And I think if you look high level at Kyle Shanahan, he has been good with Jimmy Garoppolo as quarterback. They've won over 70% of their games with Jimmy Garoppolo as a starter. But he's had all these games with C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins. And so it's tough to get like a true eval on Shanahan, especially with, Trey Lance lurking. And, I'm sure they want to get him in the mix, but Jimmy Garoppolo's playing well. So I think the Niners are still a tough team. They got to play better defensively. They did the other night. So I think 49ers are lurking, and the Rams are at a pivotal point because they have a tough schedule, and balls in McVay and Stafford's court to be able to adjust to what defenses are doing now.
What's going on with the Seahawks, Steve?
I mean, the Seahawks just have this roster that has continually gotten worse. They invested heavily in Jamal Adams, and in turn, he's a good player, but in turn, they haven't been able to add in other spots. They lost Russ for a few weeks. They're dealing with this new offensive system that's been kind of hit or miss. And Russ came back and just didn't look like himself. So they were a disaster on Sunday. First time Russ has been shut out. They lose 17-0. But I think they have just been a Russell Wilson-driven team so much. Mm-hmm. Even though Pete Carroll wants to run the ball and likes to play defense and all that stuff, they only go as their quarterback goes, like most NFL teams. And Russ didn't play well the other day, and you didn't have him for a few weeks. So all of a sudden, the Seahawks look like a real long shot to make the playoffs. They're going to have a tough time. I think they'll get a little bit back on track as the finger gets better for Russell Wilson, but they're just a team that has made it more difficult year over year as their roster's gotten worse and they put more pressure on their quarterback. And if he doesn't play well, they seems like they're just in trouble when that happens.
Where does who is your number 1 QB on the board year to date?
We have Tom Brady still graded as the highest quarterback.
How does that happen?
Pretty tough.
Because
it's throw for throw analysis. He's played really well. Like the first 5 weeks, he was head and shoulders above everyone else. So where people get caught up in, and when they talk MVP races and all that stuff, they think, we all think that it's like, well, this guy's first and that guy's second. And if the guy who's first has a bad week, well, then they're going to flip-flop, right? But the first 5 weeks, Brady was graded so much better than everyone else Like, those games still count in this season. So even though he hasn't played as well in recent weeks, he was coming from a perch that was so much higher than everyone else. So Brady's still number one. Kirk Cousins is up there for us. Dak is up there. Justin Herbert's still up there for us. It's pretty close. Ryan Tannehill's actually third in our quarterback grades, but it's really tight at the top. It's, a few plays here and there. Brady was dominating the grading early in the year, but he's come back down to earth, and now all of a sudden it's really tight. And I think that's a big reason why you see the NFL seem so wide open right now, because you just don't have dominant quarterback play anywhere.
Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus, PFF.com. What do you see from Baker Mayfield?
Oh, man. He looked good 2 weeks ago against the Bengals. Without OBJ last week, he was a disaster. The whole Browns team was a disaster against the Patriots. So another week where it's like, I don't know. He's playing hurt. How much is that affecting him? Should he just be able to play through it? There's all these question marks. So Baker continues to bring more questions to the table rather than answers. And, I still think that offense looks better without Odell Beckham Jr., but there are going to be weeks where you still, you need playmakers on the outside at some point. And, I think to this point we've seen Baker succeed when the situation around him has been good. When it hasn't been good, he's struggled. In a game like last week against a pretty good Patriots defense, just made some poor decisions, bad throws, and, they didn't have a shot. So just another roller coaster ride in, Baker Mayfield's career, which further clouds the Browns' judgment call that they have to make on him, whether or not they want to lock him up long term. What do you think they'll do? I wonder if there's a hybrid to be had, like a franchise tag to be had, or a second tier type of deal that is not going to crush the salary cap going forward. It's all about that percentage of the salary cap. So if you get it at a reasonable percentage for a 3-year deal, or maybe on a 3-year type of deal, or a Derek Carr deal from a few years ago where Carr was kind of the highest paid for a while, but you knew it wouldn't last, and you knew there was like an out in there too that the Raiders had built in, a little bit of a hedge. I think that'd be the best case scenario for the Browns, and they'll try that, and we'll see if Baker's camp will agree to that, because I think even they should admit it hasn't been the best year for Baker Mayfield so far this year.
Are you concerned with Joe Burrow's interceptions? No, not necessarily. I think there are some plays. He doesn't have the best arm in the world. I think he makes it work for himself. But when you don't have the best arm, you just have a tighter margin of error. So deep out here and there isn't going to work. That's what happened to Denzel Ward taking the pick six the other day. But it's more of an accuracy. It's accuracy and arm strength, getting away with stuff. But I think he's a quick decision maker. He is very accurate. I think he'll be fine overall. Another pivotal point for the Bengals, though, playing the Raiders this weekend, and they're coming off 2 terrible games, just getting losing to the Jets, getting crushed by the Browns, and the Bengals have to prove that they do belong, because a few weeks ago they were technically the number 1 seed in the AFC, and that's the fun of the NFL. How quickly all of those things change from week to week. Are the Saints cooked? Yeah, it's getting that way. I mean, tough game last week with the negated interception in the end zone was huge. I know Sean Payton wasn't happy. To be fair, that was the same call that kind of helped them win against the Bucs 2 weeks ago. Trevor Siemian with a roughing call on a negated interception in the end zone. But I think Sean Payton's done such a great job to get Trevor Siemian to play football well now. I mean, he had Jameis playing well, or at least playing efficient football. Simeon's doing the same thing, and he dragged Drew Brees to the Hall of Fame. Sean Payton is really showing that maybe he's the best QB whisperer around the NFL as far as getting production. But no doubt, I think the roster. Yeah, I love the roster in New Orleans overall, but I think some of their limitations are starting to catch up, mostly on the perimeter. They don't have those big play receivers to change the game, or to help drag a Trevor Siemian through a game when he needs it, or whatever it might be. So I like the Saints overall. They're going to be tough and competitive. They've got as good of a playoff shot as anybody, so they can get in. But clearly, without having a Breeze at the top, their margin of error is just a lot tighter than it's been in recent years. What would Russell Wilson be if he was with some of these other offensive minds and guys that play more wide open and a little more aggressive, whether it's head coaches like Sean Payton, McVay, Andy Reid, or even Kellen Moore. I can't believe I'm saying that. But what would Russell
finally around on that too?
What would Russell Wilson be in that space?
Yeah, so I think he'd be better. I think his production would be better. I don't know that we've never seen that. I mean, the first half of last year, they at least there were times where they were opening it up, even with Brian Schottenheimer, and you kind of saw what Russ was capable of. But I think a part of the reason why they haven't opened it up is because they don't trust him down to just make good decision after good decision after good decision 40 times a game. That's not to say that he's not awesome and special, and maybe it would work out. But I think he's had a bunch of offensive coordinators who have wanted to just do less, focus more on the downfield passing attack and not put as much on his plate early in the game. I would be interested to see if he had an offense that did that. If I just want to say this the right way because I love him as a player. But would he be able to handle that? Could he handle being a Brady, a Breeze, or a Rodgers that is the offense from start to finish? And there are games where they don't even run the ball and they just chuck it around and trust the quarterback. I don't know if Russ is that type of guy. And I do think you play to his strengths best by letting him throw the ball down the field. And so I'm a little torn on that. I think overall he'd be better. But I don't think it would be this astronomical change where it's like, oh, man, he's going to throw 50 touchdowns a game. Pete Carroll's been holding him down,
Okay. All right, I've got a minute and a half. Give me the top couple of teams in the NFC and AFC.
The top teams?
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans in the AFC. Got to deserve credit. Plus, they have the easiest schedule going forward. We'll see. And they've played 82 players, which is crazy. There's a revolving door there. NFC, I still think the Bucs come through in the end. I think their schedule helps them. I think they'll end up being the number one seed, but the Packers are making a play now as the other teams get worse. The Cardinals are still in the mix, but I'll say the Bucs until they prove me wrong one more time. I'll say the Bucs and the Titans are the best teams, AFC, NFC right now.
Can't believe you didn't say the Cowboys. Unbelievable. Thought we were buds. All right.
If the Broncos game didn't happen, it's the Cowboys.
Okay.
But the Cowboys, man, if they made the Super Bowl this year, I would not be surprised. So
okay. Oh, right. I love that. Blake Palazzolo just said that Cowboys to the Super Bowl. All right, Steve, I know it's an abbreviated week next week, so I'll let you and Blake work that out. But if we hope to get you on. If we don't, I wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving. We'll jump back on the next week. But either way, have a great week, my man. Take care.
Thank you, and same to you guys. Enjoy the holiday, and always appreciate you guys.
Be good, buddy. Steve Palazzolo, PFF.com, Pro Football Focus. He's got the podcast, and, of course, they're loading up content 24 hours a day. PFF.com. Steve joined us on the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line. We need the Cowboys to jump those teams. We need the Cowboys to stay the course, and they've got to jump the Cardinals, the Packers, and the Buccaneers. And I think Steve would also tell you that there's not much difference at all. I mean, this is the NFL. So when we're talking about the top teams, again, we're going back to, a fingernail type deal, a whisker. But, man, that's competitive. I know both are, but golly, that's competitive over in the NFC. I mean, can some of these teams fall apart, please? And I love Brady, and I love Rodgers, and I love watching Kyler Murray play, but not this year. Kudos to the Titans and my buddy Joel, who I didn't know they had played 82 players. That's when you know Mike Vrabel and his staff in the front office can flat out evaluate and coach. That's some excellent coaching right there. Live in the BankPlus Studio. BankPlus, it's more than a name. It's a promise.